Hi everyone, I hope you're well and enjoying a sunny weekend. It was beautiful here in North Bay. I just wanted to give a few thoughts this week on registration versus or certification. So we have to remember that at its core, there are two different processes. And when TRO was trying to work through the process that they would kind of endorse or work with, they did decide to go to the registration option, and both of them are optional. So there are some agencies and workplaces that will ask for you to be RTRO or CTRS, but not every work employer will do that. So mine, for instance, doesn't have any job requirements that require me to be RTRO or CTRS. I personally and professionally wanted to obtain that optional certification, so I did that myself. I did the RTRO about 5-6 years ago, and then last year I did that first year of renewal, and mine was one of the few that got picked for auditing, so I had to bring forth all of my documents to show my continued professional contribution to the field of therapeutic recreation and my ongoing commitment to that. So registration with TRO, again, it's an optional component. It's an optional registration at this time. Sometimes you'll hear occupational therapists saying they're registered, and that's with their college. So when you're part of the Regulated Health Profession Act, you have to have an associated college, and you pay fees each year to continue to ensure that you are registered with that college. There's auditing of your files and your clinical work on a I don't know if it's a 5-year basis, things like that. So we're not at that process of auditing our work or having that, again, that threshold of risk of harm. But that registration still shows that we have the education, the experience, and the ongoing professional contribution and education to keep us current in the field. So that is one option. One of the nice options you'll see when you look at the two different processes is that our TRO in the registration process now, it used to, people with diplomas and degrees were all grandfathered in together, but then there was a time where I think it was 2015 where they decided to have two different routes, one being the RTRO and one being the RTRO DIP, so with a diploma kind of educated individuals. So there are those two options, which is great. As you start to look through the certification process, you will identify that there is just a degree option. There's not an option for practitioners that have diplomas. Obviously, as we are not regulated and we do not have specific criteria for our education, in Ontario, we've got both streams coming through, and so they decided to have that reflected in our registration process. When we look at certification, we want to think about that NCTRC, so that National Council for Therapeutic Recreation certification. So it's not like our TRO or our CTRA, our Canadian Therapeutic Recreation Association. In the States, they have an ATRA, so an American Therapeutic Recreation Association, but this NCTRC is specific around certification. So it's the body, it is the organization that puts out certified therapeutic recreation specialists. So that designation of CTRS. So again, it is an optional designation. There could be some agencies that ask for it, but not all will. It is a little more intricate in that you need to either identify it as you're going through your education process, so you can line yourself up to get your placement with a CTRS. Or for someone like myself, I would do one of the equivalency paths where I can demonstrate that I've already worked in the field for so long. But yeah, there are a few more little hoops to jump through, and there's a national exam as well. I would say that personally, I see a lot of CTRSs more out east. So in the Maritimes, you see more people getting that CTRS designation, kind of following more in suit with the states, and then a bit more in the GTA and certain bigger kind of agencies that have recreation therapists. I've had some friends go through it. It's a lot of studying, as you can see from the sample exam. It's not just take your courses and go to, there is a bit of a preparation that needs to go into place to get that designation. I've considered it myself for sure. I'd like to get it. It's on my bucket list. My employer hasn't asked for it, and I know it's a big undertaking, so I haven't yet got there yet, but it is a goal of mine. So it's something to consider, thinking about moving into the field of recreation therapy, being possibly a new practitioner. Having those designations to your name, obviously makes you a bit more marketable, shows that you've demonstrated a level of knowledge, and education, and experience, and continuing contribution to the field. So a few things to think about, registration and certification, and where you might kind of align yourself with, and maybe even both. But yeah, take some time to review both websites, and then pop onto the discussion board so we can kind of see what everybody feels and everybody's thinking about those two different designations. Have a good one, guys. Bye.